We're going to be talking about graphing ordered pairs today on the coordinate plane. In the past, you've probably worked a great deal with the quadrant one. Actually, anytime that you've worked with a graph, you've actually graphed in here, x being on this side here, the x-axis being positive, and the y-axis being positive. But the reality is in mathematics, the coordinate plane has four quadrants. The first being positive and positive. The second, x is negative and y is positive. The third, x is negative and y is negative. And in quadrant 4, x is positive and y is negative. And the reason that is because we look here, think of it this way. This is like a thermometer. We'll start here with the x-axis. You're used to seeing temperatures, we would say from about 0 up, we'd be in the warm zone, right? Those are positive values. Those are greater than 0. But these values down here are less than 0. They're colder. So we start dropping into negative temperatures. We're used to seeing this, but not in conjunction with a horizontal axis. So what I want you to think about is the fact that you could actually think of this. This is your birthday, your year of your birth, okay, right here at 0. And everything else that's happened since then has to do with your birthdays, any different event that's happened in your life. So you'd be here, and then as you've gone along, there's different events and different things that have occurred. Okay. Well, we think about it, and you can think about it this way for your parents and your brothers and your sisters. There was a whole different aspect of life for them before you came along. So if we look over here, we can actually put in events before your birth. Okay. And that's an interesting way to at least think about it, okay? Because there were things that were happening before you came along and joined the world, all right? So what we'll have to get used to is the fact that we can go multiple ways on the grid. We have positive values here, we have negative values here, and when we put the two in conjunction together, all we're really doing is lining it up like this, where 0 meets 0, and we start to progress. We're just not used to thinking of it that way. So if we move on into the coordinate plane here, we're used to graphing like this, where we would say x comes before y. We're used to going over and across and then up, and we get our point, positive 3, positive 1. But if I was to write down something like negative 4, negative 5, well, it's going to be a different spot. Well, I have to look and see where I am. Well, this is 0, so I need to go backwards now, like I'm going into negative temperatures, or in this case, years before I was born. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 4, because we're dropping down. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's where our point would be. No different than what we've done in the past, except now we are going to be working in these areas. We're going to be working on this aspect and this aspect of the x-axis and the y-axis. When we look here, we're trying to identify the placements of these points. And earlier today, when I talked with those who were able to join our discussion, we were able to identify the points. I'm just going to review them quickly here. So I'll start off with 0, or O, and it's at point 0, 0. Okay? But if we look up here, let's look at K. Well, K is over 1, up 1. So positive, it's 1, 1. Okay? You don't necessarily have to put positive. Now, if we look at H, same type of thing. We can go over 2, up 5. So this is 0.2, 5. Now, what about N? N's a different situation. We go over 6, but we're actually dropping down below 0, so we have 6, negative 1. And here we have L. We're going over 2, but down to negative 3. If we look over at G, G's in quadrant number 2, this being quadrant 1. This is 2. This one being 3. And this one being 4. G is actually in quadrant 2. And if we look, We're going beyond 0, so we're going backwards. We go to -5 up to +3. So -5, 3. M is -6, 1. Now, if we look at J, we have -5, -2. It's a little messy, sorry about that. And I'll apologize in advance. I'm trying to get used to writing with a mouse, and it's not as easy as the pen I usually use. And P is -6, -4. So as you can see, we're still doing the same thing. We're always on the horizontal axis first, and then we deal with the y-axis. Now, if we go to place these on, we're trying to figure out now where some of these points are located. And I'm going to change to our creative pen. We'll go with some smileys for a minute. And let's see here. A is 5, 1. So over 5, up 1. So there we go. And that would actually be, that's point A. So we know that A is in quadrant 1. B is -3, -5. So if we go back, -3, -5. So we're actually going to go down, and it's actually going to be in quadrant 3. C, 3, -2. Well, 3, -2. So we'll be down in here. Okay. And that one will be C. D, -4. So I'm going -4. And +2 means I'm going up. So what's interesting here is we're up into quadrant 2 this time. Okay. And this one is, as I said, D. Last but not least, or excuse me, there's two more. E, -2. So if we go and we place that one in, 2, -2 right here, and that would be E. And the last one would be 0, 0, which would be, we're going to call O. And that is actually right at the center point of the coordinate plane. And we'll put that one in right there, and we'll label it 0, 0. Now, the last part that I wanted to show you was here, where we can start plotting these points on. And what we're looking to do is to go ahead and plot the points to form quadrilaterals. So let's see if we can do that for the first one. And we'll do the first one with, let's see. Why don't we use smileys this time, see if it'll come up. We'll use stars this time. Okay. A is 1, 1. B is 1, +5. C is -3, +5. And D is -3, +1. Well, you can see that when we put that together and we connect the dots, we actually will have, we should have, there we go, we have ourselves a rectangle. Okay, and if I look at the next one, and we'll use something different this time. Why don't we go with smileys this time? And we have +1, -3, so we're going to come here. That'll be J. K is +5, +1, +5, +1. L is +8, -1, +1. So I should be over here a little bit. And M is +4, -3. And what we get is actually, looks like a parallelogram. So we'll connect those up. And we should be in decent position as we come across. And you probably heard Lola barking in behind there. Sorry about that, but we love the dog, so we're keeping her. And let's go now. If we look at the last one, and we've got P negative 30. So we're going to change that up. We're going to try, we'll go daisies this time. So negative 30 be here. Negative 6, negative 2 here. Positive 4, negative 4. So positive 4, negative 4, way down here. And S positive 10, 0. So that'd be way out here on the far side. And again, we'd be dealing with, even if we connect it this way, we'd have an irregular quadrilateral. And just be for the simple fact that the 1 point is way out of whack compared to the others. But that, my friends, is how you would plot on the coordinate grid when you're dealing with all 4 quadrants. And the main thing is to make sure you start with X and end with Y, and that you record your points. You do not have to put positive for the positive values for X and Y, but you definitely have to put the negative in so we know which way to go. If you want to do it when you're graphing and doing the activities that I'm going to assign or ask you to work through, if you want to put the positive sign in, you certainly can. Anyways, I hope this helps.